from that shield and magic damage coming through from Lu Bang. But we're gonna get to the BP now for game number one. Sorry, between Boom and KAGENDRA. Obviously, KAGENDRA on blue side, and Boom here over onto the red side. So maybe the Dolia for Boom isn't gonna be the case. Maybe it's gonna be for KAGENDRA this time.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the minds of the coaches, right? So right now, on the left side of your screen, we have Coach Reflect, who has been with KAGENDRA since day number 1. And we also have Coach Cien, who has also been a long-standing member of Boom Esports. So this is not their first bout. And I'm curious to see what kind of mind games they're going to play. KAGENDRA take out the Lung straight away.
I have to give props over to Coach CM, right? Like, when we was at KIC 2025, the staff didn't believe me that I was a caster, and he vouched for me, so I didn't get kicked out when SB19 got played. So thank you very much, Coach CM. That's my little props to him. We have a bit of a connection there. So hope to do good here for you guys over on Boom Esports. But let's look more at the bans here. Obviously, the Lung as well as the Haya. The Evernight Aspiration here being one of the prior bans for KAGENDRA. They don't want to play against it in that mid lane.
Oh, they actually open up the Chicha for the start of KAGENDRA. And if there's one player I think you have to be concerned taking his hands on it, it has to be Saole here. But once again, this is a flex pick. The Chicha, or the Forge Maiden, can go into the jungle, the Clash, or the farm.
Exactly. Keeps them guessing, but it means that Boom's able to kind of like situate some of these more solidified picks like the Yang Jian, like the Parasolar here as well, right? So do Boom look to go towards the Dolia into the latter part of the draft, or is this baiting them, basically just like trying to bait the Dolia ban here for the side of KAGENDRA and maybe potentially open up something more? But KAGENDRA right now, they're looking at that pay, they're looking at that Byron, so it looks like it's going to be Zahn going onto the Forge Maiden here instead.
Okay, I like it a lot because at this point, the early game jungling speed is not going to be very fast for the Twilight, right? Pei, on the other hand, extremely fast. We've seen this in game number 7s last year, where, you know, the Yangjin just completely gets destroyed because you don't get that early game lead. Now, I'm curious whether Boom Esports, this Twilight, because of the way that KAGENDRA have drafted, might not even go in the jungle.
Yeah, it could potentially go up into the Clash lane, right? Like, that is still a potential here for them, especially not pairing it with the Dolia within those first 2 picks, right? Like, that's generally the go-to if you are locking in the Yang Jian. But Parasolar being the first one, obviously trying to give Danny over one of his big picks here onto the side of Boom Esports. Now, obviously, both teams are focusing at that mid-hero pool. The Yuan, the Xiao Chao, the Yi Xing here as well, the Boardmaster, and obviously the Yukio being banned out, so they don't have that direct counter into the jungle.
Okay, I like this pick a lot. You know, KAGENDRA is definitely understanding that Boom Esports can definitely flex this Twilight into the Clash lane. And I'm curious to see, what does Boom Esports decide here? They're going to go for more burst damage and longer reaching arms in the form of the Celestial Nuwa. KAGENDRA now have the option. What do you think is the best way to play this mid lane?
Ooh, maybe go for some control here. Obviously, they're looking for the Silk Weaver. Obviously, potentially, if there's going to be the dive there, or maybe even trying to get the pick off onto the likes of the Parasolar. But ultimately, what they're going to try and do is try and hold their front line, into a fight that they know they're fighting on their terms on the side of KAGENDRA, right?
Intertwined by fate.
Yeah, for sure. They want to have that superior positioning, right? Especially if, let's say, this Twilight jumps, then it could be, you know, death's door for the Boom Esports member, which looks like it is going to be in the hands of Miggy because they're looking at the feather foot of Fade, in this case for Carl.
Very interesting here, looking to try and take a lead out of both TNXs and buys a pick up a book here, as they saw in the last game at Boom Esports. Looking to give Carl over the feather foot here, like you said. Twilight going up to the Clash lane as well for Miggy, so a little bit of 1v1 between the Spark Mace and the Twilight. Who takes that 1v1 for you?
I actually think at the early parts of the game is definitely more in favor of Saole. In fact, you know, the more members there are, I give this matchup to Saole just because of the kit, but not because of the player. I think it's definitely outplay potential for both sides.
Okay, we'll have to see how Miggy does into the top side of the map. The older brother of the team here. Maybe, obviously, I did watch your interview. He obviously admitted to that he was the shot caller before, but no longer the shot caller here now. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they played this one, right? Obviously, all listening to Carl, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's dependent on what the style of play is, right? Because, you know, when we spoke to Miggy, he was very bent on, you know, I want to win that 1v1 matchup. And the lesson learned for them last year was the fact that, hey, you can win the 1v1 matchup, but the macro game is so important. It's a team game after all, so the better team does win. So I want to see if KAGENDRA wants to bring Miggy down that route and say, you know what, you can have the 1v1s, we will take the team fights instead.
Yes, let's see what they do here. Obviously, both of the coaches now just fist bumps here. And fist bump fists. There we go. As we go into game number 1 between both of these two teams. The IKL representatives going against Boom Esports. Both of these two teams within the spring, I believe it was. Actually, no, KAGENDRA was in the fall champion. And then obviously Boom was the spring champion. So both were champions within their own respective leagues.
Right, we'll see this initial rotations, right? KAGENDRA, we know about the strength and we know about the rotations of the Pei and Byron gameplay, right? It's mostly focused on the Clash lane and trying to secure initial advantages with the Space Sprite so they can get that teleportation portal or get that rotation coming in. But it looks like the gameplay is slightly different this time. Both teams looking to put trio lanings in the mid lane.
Yeah, we've seen this quite frequently, haven't we, throughout the rest of, for majority of Data before, right? We've been seeing 3-men, 3v3 into the mid lane, just try and get that prio as well. As you can see here, Parasola just looking to try and get as much farm as possible onto Danny here, so he can try and get activated a little bit earlier here, but they're kind of buying time for Facer to be out of the jungle.
Yeah, this is a little bit better at this at the point for KAGENDRA, right? You want to wrap up the farm for Facer, but Boom, they play the same kind of cards as well. It's all about making sure that Danny gets a good game.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they did trade, obviously, those both side camps there. I believe that did actually go over to Sule. The one down bot side, obviously, was able to get hit by last hit by Tatsuri as well, so both of those denials actually didn't go in the favor of either of these two teams. They were actually neutralized.
Yeah, so even Stevens at this point, Facial, we're already working on his Azure Golem here, and I think the later this game goes, I think it's definitely in benefit to the side of Boom here.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we can see that Pei will obviously be great early to mid game. Obviously does fall off around about the 10-minute mark, but still has enough impact, especially with the squishy heroes like trying to get the lockdown onto Danny, onto Tatsuri as well.
Yeah, at this initial start, potential first blood, but not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. The Spark Mace is just a little bit too late on that one. I feel like if he was a little bit earlier, Draw may have been taken down there as well, but now we do see that Migi is looking to rotate down to the mid lane here as well, give aid over, but no, just trying to be there for the rest of his team, right? Just trying to overturn these odds and looking to try and, like you said, trying to gain that first blood.
I mean, there's three different scenarios that we're looking for here, right? Who gets the first blood? That's the first thing. Secondly is who gets the first objective? And obviously the third one, which is the most important we've seen out of all the games today, which is who actually secures the initial goal lead for themselves. As a team now, KAGENDRA has like a 300 gold advantage, but that accounts for not much at this point.
Not at all, exactly. Like 300 gold, pretty much, it drops out your pocket, you don't even realize that you've lost 300 gold, you know what I mean? It's there as a, more of a, maybe like a motion capture, you know? Like, it's just like, hey, they clearly farm it a little bit faster, they have a little bit more of that, just a very small gold lead. It's not like, hey, they've kind of like stole away objectives, they're doing more than what they need to be, they've been getting those kind of neutral objectives. So neither of these two teams, they're still obviously in it to win in return for the gold.
Yeah, I don't see the super big difference in terms of gold between the lanes itself. The only sizable one is actually in the jungle, which is going into the hands of Fei Shi. But as a Pei, I think this is definitely what you expect out of it. So with the patience by both teams here at the 3.5-minute mark, it then places a lot of emphasis as we head to that first Tyrant, this first neutral objective. What is the choice of both of these teams here?
I mean, they're both more than likely want to go for the Tyrant, right? But you can already see that Kagendra's already putting a little bit more motion into the ocean of the fact they're trying to get the pressure down to the bot side, right? So if they can alleviate that pressure for the likes of Zan, they can then obviously take Zan into the neutral objective camp and obviously just be able to put a lot more pressure in there. But we are seeing a bit of a TP down to the bot side now for Carl. We do see the draws already in there. The knockup comes through. Oh! Just gets caught by Kagendra.
Yeah, just a little bit too late. Literally half a second too late for Kao. He was not in range to use his ultimate right as he dropped it. Simply because, you know, it was already taken before he could get his Heart of Jade seal off. Now, this is going to be great for the side of Kagendra. They currently have a 1,000 gold lead, force out the flash of draw as well. And this is going to be a sizable advantage across the map. But here comes the support from Tatsuri.
Yeah, Tatsuri using that emergence to just obviously come down to the bot side of the map here as well. Obviously give aid to Danny as well as Draw. Obviously there's no real kind of like big lead here for either of these farm lanes, right? They're both sat around about the 2.9k here, so nobody's kind of like outshining the other. It's just about maybe just getting that positioning off, right? Like if either Zan or Danny overstep, then they'll get punished.
I think not just them, right? It's literally whoever FaZe lands his hands on, because he does have a sizable lead against the rest of the cast members. 3.6k for the hands of Carl, not the biggest deficit, but with a 4,500 gold accumulated for this pay, he should be able to get some big punches in.
Oh, absolutely. Big bunches, able to kind of get the itemization up as well. Obviously, he has the Rapturous Bite, so level 3 jungle items already been built here as well. Going for the cooldown reduction boots as well. Obviously, you get a bit of magic resistance on those bad boys too, to try and sort of counter the damage that comes from the likes of Tatsuri here as well. But they're looking to just constantly keep putting this pressure on down to the farm lane, right? Because obviously, if you put the pressure onto Danny, he's not going to have free reign to kind of get to that early game power spike.
Yes, I think at this point, you know, both teams have really studied each other well, right? Nobody's overstepping their boundaries just yet, but here we go. Carl catches eyes in the mid lane as they put more pressure on this T1 on the bottom. And the defense is holding strong for the side of Boom, but at the same time, top side, there is a split push from the side of Saudi.
The macro is definitely coming into play here for the side of Kagendra, but Boom do get that T1 down to the bot side. So contrary to contrary belief, we thought that Kagendra was going to get that first T1 down there.
All right, I mean, it's a decent trade, right? So T1 for T1. So Kagendra know that they have a lead, and this is what I like about the new Kagendra. They stay patient. They don't overstep their boundaries, trying to extend this lead at the cost, at the risk of giving away a bad team fight.
I mean, you can't afford to, right? Like, whoever drops first blood here, it means that they've got kind of like potential of that T1 into the bot side or even the mid. Dropping here, but it's going to be 4-5 men up the side of Boom committed just to get that T1 into the top side. And Zan's just like, okay, I'll have a free game. I'll have a free minion wave come through as that T1 falls now.
Yep, and here comes the team fight.
Oh, okay, that was a nice catch on there, thanks to Lou. He was able to catch on, but First Blood actually comes through there, serving up to Carl, but it's also going to be Danny that falls as well as Raw, and now Tatsuri falls in the mix, leaving only Miji alive.
And there we go, this is what we're talking about. 4 kills for the price of 1, and that 1 is a rope. On the case of Lou here, Miggy will not be able to defend against that, and he might have to give his life.
Ooh, oh my goodness. That is a team wipe there for the side of Kagendra as they open up top side, open up the mid as well. They came for blood and got so much more.
Yep, a lot of value, taking all the T1s and some healthy damage on the T2 on the top side as well. So this is going to be, at this case, similar to what the CD key is. Hot blood, go and clean that right now because Boom, they're looking for some form of recovery, but that is not going to be presented because next Tyrant, already Kagendra starts on it.
Yep.
Tyrant has been defeated.
Next Tyrant, it's already gone. That's the beauty of the pay as well, right? FaZe just able to kind of melt down, especially with the help of Zan on the Forge Maiden as well. So these objectives are going to fall so quick here. FaZe checked by Sule. He's able to be the guy you want to go into those brushes knowing that the enemy team's in there because he's going to be able to survive. He's going to be able to sustain that.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important that Solly is the one that, really soaks the damage. Number one, he's giving vision, but because they also have great recovery. Lu is very much in charge of this here, giving away the redemption on that roam item with his Destined Encounter for the heals. This is all making sure that KAGENDRA is not that easy to take down.
Exactly, KAGENDRA is definitely fortifying their defenses here. With the likes of the support item, as well as obviously using Sole as just the driving force, the battering ram into the side of Boom Esports as they lose the T1 top side, T2 top side, as well as the T2 into the mid lane. This is not looking like a healthy game here for Boom, but like you said, Ken, earlier on, the late game favors Boom.
Yeah, it is. So can they really last this particular segment of the battlefield at this point? Attempted steal from the side of KAGENDRA. Facial is going to be successful, but here comes the true problem. Another T2 taken down in the mid, and it looks like they're running out of options. We are hitting that 10-minute mark soon, but Boom has lost quite a bit at this point.
They have. I mean, in terms of the gold, they're about 5k gold behind now, which is something you kind of want to make sure you are cauterizing this wound that is the bleeding of the pockets of Boom. They need to make sure that they're able to try and get a team fight that may go in their favor, or at least try and get one of these neutral objectives, especially the Shadow Overlord, to try and put a bit more pressure into one of the lanes of Boom Esports.
I don't think that's possible though.
Nice.
If you take a look at the level advantage, Facial is already at level 15. He's 2 levels ahead of Carl. At the same time, the bigger problem, Zan is level 13. He is 1 level ahead of Danny. That's a lot of difference in EXP and gold. And this is going to be a big problem. They can't have an honest 5-5 because a 5v5 team fight, KAGENDRA wins that all day now.
Yeah, especially thanks to the automation as well, as you were saying there. I mean, we're still in prime pay time. Like, it's only past the 10-minute mark around about 38 seconds. And the fact that he's able to get to level 15 prior to that point as well means that he is kind of like scaling above the pace right now. And obviously, high ground turrets in top and into the mid lane are looking to be pushed and at least do a little bit of damage here. But there's the catch for Sule on the Spark Mace right now. The Destined Encounter does come through as well. Just a zone away, Boom, but give over Elin to the side of KAGENDRA.
Okay, nerves are definitely starting to show at this point. Draw did not hit anyone with their ultimate. They have to give away the T3 in the middle, and it looks like there is no fight to be had.
Yep, T3 does go down into the mid lane now, and obviously the top side is not looking too healthy as well. KAGENDRA really putting a stamp on their name in this one, right? Like, they have taken that defeat from KIC 2025 personally, and they're looking for more here. Can they steal away the Crimson? No. Carl is able to snatch that one for himself. Just a minor victory at this point.
Yes, and even though we talk about the late game is okay if you're equal in farm, but right now they're trailing. Boom is trailing KAGENDRA by about 6,000. Another attempt by the Annihilation, not gonna hit the mark in either damage or timing. So KAGENDRA very much in the driver's seat for this one.
Driver's seat in terms of the neutral objectives as well, right? I mean, they've got all 4 neutral objectives up until this point. Boom still yet to lay their hands on a single prize here, but bot side of the map has been put down there with the Shadow Vanguard. That's going to completely wipe out the minions there and just try and put the pressure onto the bot side whilst they maybe try and look for a push here into the mid lane.
This is truly a claw machine experience for Boom, right? They have not caught anything. They spent quite a lot of money, given quite a few lives, 5 kills to the side of KAGENDRA, but no value taken out from the machine so far.
No value just yet, but it still could come, right? Obviously, it's a slow game. You kind of like trying to readjust your firm grip onto the plushie you're looking for within that claw machine there, but the top T3 does fall, so they do get a prize. But is it the ultimate prize that they want? Which is not. It's going to be that T3 down to the bot side right now, and that crystal is looking bare.
Yep, I don't think they can defend this.
It's going to be a hard defense if they're able to do it here, Boom, but obviously they have no minion waves now, and it's going to have 3 Vanguards come through. Into the back line is going to be Midgie, just trying to drive them out of this crystal territory, but you got the Vanguard slapping the crystal at this point. All you need is KAGENDRA to get a few kills, and there it is. Draw goes down, and first game goes to KAGENDRA.
Yep, super impressive gameplay from KAGENDRA, very calculated as well. And Facial, he did not overstep his boundaries, right? It didn't feel like he was very prominent across the map, but somehow all the kills were kind of flowing in. And this is a well-calculated execution from the side of KAGENDRA here.
Yeah, very good draft here for KAGENDRA. Obviously, I felt like the Boom's draft, it was when they're locked in the Yang Jian, obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of the Yang Jian into the clash lane here. And obviously, knowing that the Dolia wasn't going to be there as well, I felt like if you do put it into the jungle, it's not going to be as fruitful as we have been seeing for the past few days, as well as today with that combo come through. But I feel like maybe Boom was just like, all right, let's get that tough draft out the way. I mean, they have dropped the likes of the Pei, the Forge Maiden, Chicha, as well as the Storm Mace, as well as the Diadea as well. So quite an expensive draft here nonetheless, but there is some expensive picks on the side of Boom that they can't have anymore as well.
Yeah, I think this one really hurts for Boom. While it is an expensive draft for the side of KAGENDRA, like you said, I think Boom also have expended quite a bit. Now that there is no more refreshed combination in the form of the Twilight and Dolia, because Yang Jian is no longer available for Boom, what other options do they have? At the same time, I think KAGENDRA has already shown us that now if you give them the lead, they know how to play the game with it, and that's a very different story from the KAGENDRA of old.
Oh, absolutely. Because the KAGENDRA of old, like, they would see a crystal, they'd get excited, they'd go for it, and they would lose at the crystal territory, and then the enemy team would always come back. But whereas this KAGENDRA, like you were saying, they had such a definitive lead, they didn't hold off, they kept putting on the pressure, and that's the thing that made Boom falter.
Yeah, and here's the crazy part. Let me remind you what we were watching. It was a 1,000 goal lead at the start. And they just made sure, because they have that 1,000 goal lead, and where was their lead? It was in the hands of Fei Shi. This guy on the Pei, he was silent, but he was deadly. 4-0-2. You don't need too many kills. Once you have the advantage, just start working around the edges of the map. And that's exactly what KAGENDRA did.
Exactly. I mean, that beautiful opening up of those 4 kills was probably the most perfect thing that they could have really hoped for here onto the side of KAGENDRA. Because at that point, it was pretty stalemate. Like, nobody had a first blood, but rolled through the first blood, then dropped another one, dropped another one, dropped another one, and then that was it. Like, there was so much opportunity and potential for KAGENDRA to open up the map, and they did exactly that.
Yes, and of course, props to this guy, Senko, as well. On this Shi here, a lot of people did not kind of expect that he would be so effective. Like, we know him as a very strong contender, steady performer in the KAGENDRA lineup, but today he's been showing off his ability to foretell the future. The Silk imprints have been on point from Senko.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely feed it into the kills, into his team as well, right? Like, really just kind of stopping any real composure of Boom. And that's the beauty of the Silk Weaver, right? Is the fact that you compose the team fight yourself rather than waiting for the crucial first step that's going to be the way in for the enemy team. You just bring them to them, whether it be Carl, whether it be Draw, and just completely take away that front line.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was more important that Senko actually caught Draw quite a few times, right? Because once Draw is out, you don't really have a big tank anymore. Yes, you have the Yang Jian, but how long can he set up for you? He doesn't really get the perfect, 5-man stun that you're looking for that Draw can provide. And that's exactly what Senko was looking out for.
Exactly. He did it very well. He was looking for that prize. He was waiting for the shiny moment, and he secured it multiple times. But looking at the head-to-head right now, obviously, damage taken between these two Clash laners is pretty much far a few in between. Around about 5k difference there. Same with the damage dealt.
Yep, of course, different values provided down here. For the side of Sauli on the Byron, right? Once he uses his ultimate, the Force Field Suppression, he gets extra shield as well. So he is a constant sponge for the side of KAGENDRA, which opened up the room for Senko to have the clarity to catch the actual prey that he wants from the side of Boom, and also provide so much space for Fei Shi on that Pei, as well as Zan on that Forge Maiden. The Chicha never really used the ultimates on the team fights. If you notice throughout the gameplay, the ultimates were used to melt down turrets. Such a smart and creative use of the Chicha here.
Oh, absolutely. If you're going to use that as a split push potential, as you can see with that top T3, bot T3 there, just using the ultimate to run that down to make sure it's just catching Boom off guard, right? Because obviously they probably weren't even suspecting that the Chicha was going to use the ultimate to take down the turrets, right? There's probably waiting for it to come online within this team fights. It just never happened. She's like, oh, she doesn't need it. She's just doing far too much damage anyway.
Yep, and this is a PKL weakness, I would say, right? KAGENDRA exposes it once again, which is, okay, let's play the macro game. You want to fight? We will fight when the crystal is available for the taking.
Exactly. Eyes on the prize, crystal within their grasp to take down, and then obviously just take the team fight from there. But I feel like there is only one MVP worthy in that game #1, and it's definitely very sure here on this pay, showing you how it's done, whipping out the 2 guns, 402 KDA, dealing 63k of the damage. But ultimately, it was that XP lead, it was that gold lead so early on that was so oppressive onto Boo.
Yep, and because of the threat that he was ahead, knowing that he could easily take any of the members, even Carl at one point in 1v1, this forced Boom to be in a very scary position here. This initial catch onto draw, I thought it was looking good for Boom at that moment, but then the amount of catches and help of sustain coming from Saule, especially with the Pure Sky usage and the Flash Storm Strike combination, allowing FaZe to stay alive, get the burst damage in as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was all, you have to give it over to obviously Senko, as we already have gave props over to him, right? Like, you can see these pulls coming through. He's just a pure setup here. Yes, he got 1 kill, but 4 assists as well into that one. So you can really see here that he's able to kind of slow the pace of the draw on the Lapu Lapu, and then also stop the kind of potential from Carl on this Featherfoot.
Yep, and look at Saule, right? I like this play by Saule. This shows you how much improvement Saule has done. He was constantly soaking in the turret damage from the crystal. He was also making sure that the skills being used, he was the one in front of them. So he was a sponge for KAGENDRA, and this made life so much